Welcome to PH Insight. Know the force behind the flag. Whether it's warships, fighter jets, or the next big defense move, if it matters to Philippine security, it's here. In a video uploaded just 5 days ago, viewers got a rare, close-up look at 5 of the 6 Abukuma-Class escort ships of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, JMSDF. At first glance, it may not seem like breaking news. After all, these ships were launched in the late 1980s and early 1990s. But for those who understand naval defense, the images spoke volumes, and hinted at what could be a game-changing moment for the Philippine Navy. 5 out of 6 Abukuma-class ships were shown either underway or docked, visibly active and in remarkably good shape. For a class that has served for over 3 decades, this high state of readiness is impressive. And it is exactly this condition that's fueling excitement and speculation. If Japan decides to transfer these ships to the Philippines, it could transform Manila's naval capabilities overnight. Let's explore why the Abukuma-class, despite its age, might soon become the most combat-ready surface ships the Philippine Navy has ever received, what they could bring to the fleet, and why this story matters more than many realize. In naval circles, videos like this matter. Naval observers quickly noted that the Abukuma-class ships featured in the footage appeared clean, freshly painted, and free from the telltale rust streaks that often mark aging warships. Even more telling, seeing 5 of the 6 ships operational and seemingly on patrol or training. That level of operational availability, over 80% of the class visibly active, is remarkable. In many navies, ships of this vintage would likely be confined to port for long maintenance cycles or, worse, be relegated to reserve fleets. But in Japan, these ships are still very much part of day-to-day maritime operations. This isn't just about fresh paint or cosmetic maintenance. It's evidence of the JMSDF's legendary standards, rigorous preventive maintenance, regular overhauls, and a culture that keeps even older vessels fully mission-capable. The Abukuma-class is a type of destroyer escort, DE, a ship category focused on anti-submarine warfare, ASW, and coastal escort duties. While not as large or heavily armed as a full-size destroyer, they fill a critical gap in fleet operations. Each Abukuma-class ship measures about 109 meters in length and displaces around 2,000 tons, full load. They are powered by a COGAG, combined gas and gas, propulsion system, giving them speeds up to 27 knots. In terms of weaponry, they come equipped with a 76mm OTO Malara main gun, versatile for surface and limited anti-air use. Phalanx CIWS, close-in weapon system, a last-ditch defense against incoming missiles and aircraft. 2 quad launchers for SSM-1B anti-ship missiles, Japan's domestically produced equivalent to the Harpoon. Anti-submarine rockets and torpedo tubes. Significantly, they also have hull-mounted sonar and towed array sonar systems, giving them credible ASW capabilities. While Japan would likely remove the anti-ship missiles before transfer, the ships would retain most of their ASW gear and self-defense systems. Even stripped of some offensive missiles, the Abukuma-class would remain versatile escorts, especially in Southeast Asia's increasingly crowded waters. For decades, the Philippine Navy has relied heavily on older second-hand ships, former U.S. Coast Guard cutters, ex-South Korean corvettes, and World War II-era relics, many of which have now been retired. While recent years have seen the arrival of modern ships like the Jose Rizal-class frigates and the new Acero-class fast-attack interdiction craft, the fleet still faces capability gaps, especially in ASW. Here's why the Abukuma-class could be transformative: readiness and reliability. These ships are not old museum pieces. The video evidence shows they're fully operational. For the Philippine Navy, receiving second-hand ships often means months or years of repairs before they're ready for duty. The Abukuma-class might break that cycle. ASW capability: the Philippine Navy has very limited anti-submarine warfare assets. The Abukuma's hull sonar and towed array could fill a critical capability gap, especially as regional submarine fleets grow. Self-defense systems: the Phalanx CIWS remains highly relevant, offering close-range protection against missiles and aircraft, something few Philippine ships currently have. Size and range. While smaller than a full-size destroyer, the Abukuma-class is larger and more seaworthy than patrol vessels, making it suitable for operations in the West Philippine Sea. Consider the history. The Philippine Navy has previously received ex-US Navy Hamilton-class cutters, which became the Del Pilar-class offshore patrol vessels. These were built in the 1960s and needed significant work before fully joining the fleet. Likewise, ex-South Korean Pohang-class corvettes transferred to the Philippines were decades old and required months of refit and repair. Even then, the ship's sensors and weapons were generally outdated or incomplete. By contrast, the Abukuma-class ships in the video seem genuinely ready. If transferred soon, they might need only minimal refurbishment, and could be operational far faster than earlier second-hand acquisitions. The possible transfer is part of a wider shift in regional security. Japan and the Philippines have steadily deepened defense cooperation in response to growing maritime challenges, especially in the South China Sea. Recent developments include Japan and the Philippines signing a Reciprocal Access Agreement, RAA, allowing Japanese forces to train and operate in the Philippines. Japanese military aircraft visiting Philippine bases for training. Growing discussions around Japan helping improve Philippine maritime domain awareness. In this context, transferring Abukuma-class ships isn't just about hardware. It's a signal of trust and commitment to regional security. Of course, these ships are around 30 to 35 years old. Skeptics may ask, are they really worth it? Here's what makes the difference. JMSDF's preventive maintenance culture keeps systems in far better shape than many navies. Japanese shipbuilding quality means these hulls age gracefully, with fewer structural issues. The ships were originally built with high-end ASW gear that remains relevant. Even if offensive missiles are removed, the hulls, engines, radars, and sonar systems would make them formidable escorts by Philippine Navy standards. So far, no official transfer has been confirmed. Talks have reportedly taken place, and the video itself doesn't prove anything beyond current operational condition. But the fact that 5 out of 6 ships remain fully active shows these ships are not at the end of their service life. If Tokyo and Manila agree, the transfer could happen in phases, perhaps starting with 2 ships, then more. And unlike older transfers, the Abukuma-class might need only limited local refit, meaning they could join the Philippine fleet faster, at lower cost, and in a more combat-ready state. One striking observation from analysts, during joint visual inspections, JVIs, a routine step when evaluating second-hand ships, the Abukuma-class could genuinely be the most combat-ready and best-maintained ships the Philippine Navy has ever assessed. That says as much about the JMSDF's discipline as it does about the ships themselves. The story of the Abukuma-class is about more than old hulls changing flags. It's about how proper maintenance extends life and relevance. How partnerships can rapidly boost a smaller navy's capability. And how regional security challenges are driving closer ties between Japan and the Philippines. If this transfer happens, it will be the first time the Philippine Navy gains true ASW escorts, even if older. Combined with its newer frigates and upcoming corvettes, it could give Manila its most balanced fleet in decades. That's why the sight of 5 aging ships still sailing proudly in a recent video has sparked so much attention. In naval terms, condition often matters more than age, and the Abukuma-class looks ready to prove it.